Hey, Lightworkers. Did you know that when we are at our very worst, there is a spiritual law that can pivot us out of lack consciousness into a consciousness of abundance? Now, when I say lack consciousness, I'm talking about when we feel like life is not fair and things out there need to change so we can be happy. And if they don't change, then we can never be happy. Now, when I say abundance consciousness, I'm talking about the nature of the universe. Abundance consciousness is the nature of the universe, expansion. So that means it's your divine nature too. And so the law that can pivot us out of lack and into abundance is the law of spiritual or mental equivalence. Now, when I say equivalent, what I'm meaning is two things that are alike in significance and value, but they don't look the same. Like you might have a little pile of gold that's worth $100,000. You may have a home that's worth $100,000 because it's 1999, right? Okay, so the equivalents, they're like in significance and value. And so we want to be able to recognize the power of the spiritual equivalent of what we want to create in our life. But first, we have to be clear on our own sacred identity, which is divine abundance. Now, in the Hebrew myth of creation, we read that humankind was created in the image and likeness of the Creator, the great Creator. It was not a physical likeness. It was an equivalent. So the spiritual likeness or this equivalent means that as the Creator, the All, creates in the universal, we are creating in our own lives. So we do create as our Creator. Now the mystic Emmett Fox, he said, "It is your duty to express God to the utmost of your power." This is our whole purpose for being on this planet right now. And our purpose, the purpose above all purposes, the main purpose, our sole purpose, is that we are here to create as our Creator, to call forth the divine through us, for us, as us, and let it unfold out into our life. So we are here to learn how to be as God created us, to be the spiritual equivalent of source energy. So how can the law of equivalence help us pivot from lack to abundance so that we can be the divine creators that we came here to be? Well, Emmett Fox said something else that was very wise. He said, "The law of mind is that you can only get rid of one thought by substituting another." So we cannot claim abundance while we are busy speaking words of poverty. If we're speaking words of poverty and thinking thoughts of lack and how our life is so restrictive and nothing ever goes our way, the only way that we can claim abundance is to start speaking words of abundance. Just like we can't claim health and also speak words of sickness all the time. We have to stop speaking the words of sickness. "I don't feel well. I'm so tired. I have no energy," right? That's my routine right there. Okay. But we have to replace that with the words of health. "I am doing better today. I slept pretty good. I got a nap. Woo!" Right? So we're learning to make God's nature our nature. So I just want to share two things that we can do so we can pivot out of lack consciousness and into the consciousness of abundance. So the first thing is, you could say step one, is we want to become invested in our awareness. This means that we have to pay attention to our inner conversations. We have to listen to what we say to ourselves. Does our inner conversation go like, oh, this isn't working out. This is too hard. I'm too tired of trying, right? We have to get awareness of how we are talking to ourselves. We have to be able to listen. I had a pretty amazing experience doing the Complaint-Free Living program back in 2007. That was my first time, and I've done it almost on a yearly basis since then. But with Complaint-Free Living, what you do is you wear a bracelet, and then if you complain, you have to switch the bracelet to the other wrist. Now the goal is to go 21 days without having to switch your bracelet. So the first time I did this, it took me 4 months to get through 21 days, because say that you get through 5 days, but then you complain, you have to switch the bracelet, and then you have to start over again on day 1. Now I will tell you, this was a paradigm shifting thing to do, to start noticing all the times I was complaining and blaming. But what a consciousness of lack I had back then. All right, so we have to listen. We have to become invested in our awareness. Now, the second thing that we can do then is give like God. Give like God. God's nature is givingness, right? It is always giving of itself through all of its creations. Now, in the Science of Mind textbook, that's the definition of love, that it is source giving itself to all of its creations, right? So you could say love is givingness. Givingness is love, source giving itself to the entire field of consciousness, to all of creation, no matter what. Love, cosmic love, is giving itself to all of its creations. And love, cosmic love, is all inclusive. Cosmic love rejects nothing, because all things are its creations. The all is all things. Everything that's ever been, and everything that's yet to be, and everything that we see here right now, even all the people, even the person you didn't vote for, even the people you don't like, we are all an emanation of the divine. And it gives itself through us, through our creations, as we create new experiences. So when we give like God, we love like God. We're extending love out into our lives. We're not picking and choosing. Okay, you know the commandment, love each other as Christ loved, and love your neighbor as yourself. Now, this kind of love, it's not about liking someone. It is about having an impersonal sense of goodwill toward them. So even maybe you don't like somebody, but you want the same good for them that we would want for ourselves. And so I know, like for myself, I want my family to be safe and happy. And so I want that for everyone, no matter how they eat, vote, pray, or parent. I still want that for everyone. Ernest Holmes said, love is free from condemnation and fear. Yeah. Love is free from condemnation and fear, meaning it's not love. We're not coming from a place of love. We are not creating in the image and likeness of our Creator when we're judging and condemning. So Ernest Holmes said that love is free from condemnation and fear. He goes on to say, it is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. Its sweep is irresistible. Source does not condemn our choices. Even when we fail to honor the divine within us and the divine within others, Source is still in a state of expansion. We cannot stop Source from working through us, but we can choose love. We can choose to love as Christ loved. We can choose to love our neighbor as ourselves, having an impersonal sense of goodwill and simply wanting good for other people. Charles Fillmore said, "Love is the great healing and harmonizing power of the universe, because love does not reject itself, because love is all-inclusive. It is a harmonizing power, right? It brings things together. It brings things together. When we give like God, when we love like God, we set all those forces in motion, and we will see God in everyone. You know, we come into this life with a little bit of spiritual amnesia. I think you might say that too, right? We come into this life with spiritual amnesia. But what we're doing as we are paying attention to our inner conversations and learning to give like God is we are developing the skills to be an alchemist so that we transform, transmute, transcend any kind of lack or restrictions that we feel like we're stuck living in. We transform and transmute and transcend to rise above and be the spiritual equivalent of our Creator. And this is how we become the powerful creators that we came here to be. This is how you become the powerful creator that you came here to be. So until next time, remember, you are divinely designed to be doing all this. You have divine source code within your whole body. You are a one-time, one-of-a-kind cosmic event. In everything you do, you are blessed. And so it is. And so it is.